A man gets down on his knees and professes his love. I am the man to discuss it. It is a topic that needs to be discussed. It is killing us. It is hurting us. It is over. We are done. The word divorce. Welcome back to Gallagher's Grip. This is Daniel Gallagher yet again. Ladies and gentlemen, today I am going to be talking about a topic that has been overwhelmingly attacking my email inbox. It is a topic that needs to be discussed. It is a topic that has to see change across the board in every state, every county, every town across this great land of the United States of America. It is a topic that needs to be discussed. I am the man to discuss it. I am the man who will be to be the person who speaks on behalf of every single man in this country, because it is killing us. It is hurting us both physically, emotionally, and mentally, and it just seems to go unnoticed. It just seems to go unscathed, if you will, and it is over. We are done. We are tired. We are sick of dealing with the chaos and lunacy that revolves around the word divorce. Around the word divorce. Let me give you some statistics because it's just crazy. Just crazy. Thanks for tuning in. Here we go. I am going to be giving you facts off of the faststats.com website. In 2024, the almost 50% of marriages ended in divorce. 50%. That's 5 out of 10. Oh my God. Wait till you hear the rest. 67%. 67% of all second marriages end in divorce. Okay? That's one heck of a number. But when I tell you the next statistic, you'll probably fall off your chair, because it's certainly not a 3 times a charm like you heard when you were a kid. The third marriage, 73% of all third marriages, all third marriages end in divorce. Okay, so folks, a man gets down on his knees and professes his love to the woman that he wants to marry and be with for the rest of his life. He goes out and buys an average ring between $6,000 to $8,000, and boy, he probably has to work his tail off to afford that. He is nothing but smiles, and she is nothing but smiles, with dreams and love and light and rainbows in the sky until the end of time. What happens? What happens to these relationships? Why do the 50% of every first marriage ends in divorce? What really, truly happens? And the list goes on and on and on and on and on. There's not one item or thing that happens, but certainly one of the common things that occur is that you just simply fall out of love, or you become roommates, as what I'm reading from a lot of my fans, if you will. And the stories are, again, amazing to me, which is why I pick these topics, because I want the world to know that it's being addressed. Yes, there are a lot of people out there that do a lot of podcasts about marriage and the statistics of marriage and how they don't work, et cetera, et cetera. But here today, I am speaking about what a man has to go through when he actually, unfortunately, has to go through divorce, whether it's her idea or his idea. It is a shockingly terrible situation for a man. And quite frankly, I am so sick and tired of hearing these stories about all of these massive problems that a man goes through when he actually, unfortunately, has to go through the divorce process. We're going to be talking about this now across the board, and this particular podcast. Why is it that when a man walks into the courtroom, right? Why does he automatically feel guilty? Why is it an automatic guilty feeling when he walks into the courtroom, unfortunately, when he actually has to battle his ex-wife for money, for children, for time with the children, et cetera, et cetera. I'm telling you something. I think I picked the wrong profession, because with these percentages across the board in the United States, the numbers are staggering. The best profession to be in 2025 is, without question, a divorce attorney. Because at the end of the day, your standard retainer, I don't know, there's a lot of attorneys out there, and some retainers are $3,000, some are $4,000, some are $5,000, and that's just to get in their front door to start having conversations with them. Hey, my wife this, hey, my wife that. When at the end of the day, there are predetermined, preset laws and rules depending on the state that you live in. And no matter how hard you fight, you're hiring an attorney to do nothing but settle with your spouse. And guess what, ladies and gentlemen? It just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes and goes and goes. It's a never-ending waterfall filled with water. And when you get those bills, you probably will A, fall over, B, pass out, or C, probably run your car into a bridge embankment. Okay? It doesn't have to happen, but it does happen. And I read so many scenarios where it's a very unfortunate. It's just very, very, very unfortunate. You're going through your kids, you're going through child support, you're going through all kinds of things that you need to divide. Certainly if you've been with your wife for a long period of time, but a man goes through quite a bit, and yes, I know so does a woman. But, I got to be honest with you. I get really, really tired of hearing these terrible stories about what a man goes through. For a man to automatically feel guilty about walking through those big old French doors when he walks in that courtroom to actually speak to his attorney before his case comes up. It's kind of like this. Case number 7828, Chuck versus Darlene. Here, Your Honor. You never actually get to talk to the judge, for the record. You're hiring your attorney to speak to the judge on your behalf. And I'm just not sure if that's good or bad anymore these days. I just don't know. But what I do know is that from what I'm reading, you automatically feel like you're guilty. So as the proceeding takes place, it should really go, I'll do a two-case scenario here. Here's how it goes. Mr. Chuck, your client is a terrible guy. We have no idea who he is. We just know him by a case number, and we're very, very happy that you're able to build a living crap out of him. We know that these two people hate each other so much that he's nothing but a dollar sign to you, and the more extensions that you can get and the more that these people fight, the more your pocketbook and your firm is just going to walk away to the heavenly skies of cash. And that's what happens. And that's truly what is not said in that world. When two people hate each other so much after living with each other for so many years, and they do choose to get a divorce, right? That is a gold mine for a lawyer. They seek it, they smell it, they know it, and they know that they can get you. Let me tell you something. Your first deposit, okay, with an attorney. Let's just say it's a retainer of $5,000. They already know they're going to hit you for another $90,000, another $80,000. They'll push it. They will push it to the end of time to bleed you bone dry. The only person that wins in divorce court, hands down, bar none, period, end of story, are the attorneys. No matter what anybody says, the attorneys. I'm telling you, you want a great career? Go off and be a divorce attorney. You don't need to do anything else for the rest of your life. It's I don't. I've seen it. I haven't gone through a divorce. I certainly don't want to, but I've seen it. I've heard about it. I've had friends married and divorced 3-4 times. And, I've got my own opinions and my own views. But for a man to actually feel guilty right away, it's a stigma. It's a society situation that actually has to change across the United States of America. It has to change because, typically in the state that you're living in, okay, you will, most cases, you will get a 50-50 custody with your children, but it's not really 50-50, is it? And let me explain. I have a lot of friends that tell me that they see their children. They'll see them a couple of times during the week. And if they're coaching their basketball or soccer, they're certainly going to see them during those events, right? But as your child gets older, your child is going to want to be with their friends, or they're going to have events that they're going to want to go to that actually will take away time from you, the man. And this is assuming that the children are staying with the mother. And that whole thing has got to change too. But if you are getting your children 50% of the time, is a man really getting his child 50% of the time? I mean, is he really getting his children 50% of the time? I have an 11-year-old son, and right now he is in friends, and when he is home, guess what? He is playing Fortnite with all his friends because the entire school is attached to this game, and they're all on it. So it's not like I'm sitting there actually having one-on-one father-son dad time with my son. It's not the case. It's just simply not the case. And what am I going to do? Say, hey, you know what, son? I only have you for a period of time, and I'd like for you not to do the things that you love, not to do the things that you wish to do with your friends and go through that normal course of life because I want to spend one-on-one time with you. No, you can't do that. So I don't buy this whole 50-50. I think it's all BS. I just simply don't buy it, okay? And, I know that every situation, folks, every situation is different. I understand that. But every single man that I talk to, every single email that comes through to Gallagher's Grip, it is so one-sided. There's no such thing as 50-50 in divorce court. There is no such thing. It's more like 95-5, and that crap has to stop in this country and every single state. Because listen, who are the people that actually make the rules? Who are these people? Take a step back and think about who are these people that actually get to sit down at a table and make the rules and laws and dictate what you have to pay if you do not get your children full time. Well, I'll tell you what here, Bob makes some good money and, him and Cheryl are no longer going to be together. And let's just make some rules here to just stick it to Bob and make Bob work the rest of his entire life until his knuckles bleed and he can't even walk, because that's what a man is supposed to do. Take care of his family, even though he's not even living with them anymore. There was a point in time where we had this huge movement. Huge movement. Some of you are going to remember this movement, okay? It's women's equal rights. okay? I am not racist and I am not sexist, for the record. That is a fact. But I will speak the truth based upon what's actually still occurring across the country, okay? Equal rights. Ladies, you want equal rights? You wanted equal rights? You wanted equal pay? You wanted equal everything. We can do what a man does. We can build a skyscraper. We can weld steel. We can operate heavy machinery. We want equal rights, period. Do you remember that? Do you remember that massive movement that everybody bought into and everybody still today buys into? Because it's true. It's very true. Women should have equal rights, and they do. They're no better or worse than a man. A man is no better or worse than a woman. We're people. We're human beings, right? The problem is that if you want equal rights, and we all stand behind that movement, because boy, oh boy, didn't we ever, right? Then the change should go downstream. The change should go across the land of the United States of America, home of the free, and the reality is it didn't. And the change I'm talking about is the change in divorce court, the change against the man, okay? You want equal rights? You want equal pay? Then guess what? Why is a man getting demolished in divorce court if his wife works and makes the same amount of money and or a little less or a little more? Why is the man constantly getting crucified? Why? Somebody tell me why. You know, I'm really asking here because it's a real shame. I mean, so a man has to pay all this child support. He's got to pay all of this money, right? While simultaneously, he still has to make enough money for him to live in his world and actually have a decent quality of life. So that basically means that he is going to work another 100 hours a week just to keep the same status quo that he's used to making. And that all depends on how badly her divorce attorney actually just demolishes him if he doesn't have the right attorney. And it is so a shame in this country that this is taking place. There are so many people that do podcasts out there, ladies and gentlemen, that talk about this, but where's the change? Give me examples of the change, because I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. Certainly not in Illinois, which is where I reside. Probably the singular worst state in America for divorce laws. Okay, there is no doubt about that one. And it really, really bothers me. I mean, I have got stories of men that barely see their kids, but they have to make sure that check clears. They have to make sure that every single month, if that child support doesn't hit her bank account, well, guess what? He is held in contempt. And guess what that means, ladies and gentlemen? He is gone away to jail. He's going bye-bye. So here a man who might have lost his job for legitimate reasons, can't find another job for the moment, misses a payment or two, is out there busting his butt trying to find a job because his number one priority is to take care of his kids, which is what the priority is for most real men who take their children seriously. Okay? He's out busting his butt trying to find a job, but yet he can't find a job for whatever reason. And this guy is actually held in contempt of court, and this man has to go away to jail for a period of time, or his ex-wife can take him to jail and say, he's not paying me, and then he goes away to jail, because that's a fact. That's what happens. Now the man is in jail. He can't find any job because he's in jail, and it's beyond unfair. And you know what? It pisses me off, and it's time someone stands up on a national platform and says, whoa, wait a minute. Wait a damn minute. It has to change at a federal and state level. I'd like to meet all the people that sit around a table and create all the rules for all these innocent, hard-working men who just want to go through life and work and enjoy life and have some sort of quality of life and not get destroyed or demolished or cut off at the ankles, literally, by a divorce attorney or an ex-wife, or constantly take them back to court and constantly try to get more and more and more and more money. It's ridiculous, and it has to stop. And I'm not the only one that talks about this, and I know I'm not the only one that talks about it. I have got men that email me, call me. They haven't seen their kids in months. Do you want to know why? Let me tell you why, okay? Because during the divorce process, the kids get destroyed. During the divorce process, the kids get completely brainwashed by one and or the other. During the divorce process, folks, okay, the kids are either with the mother or the father. In this case, the mother. And in a lot of cases, and I hate to say it, but I speak the truth here, the mother brainwashes these children and completely gets these innocent children to disregard their father. Gets these children to not love their father, not want to be around their father. So as a man speaking to you and speaking on behalf of every man on this planet, do you realize the pain that you cause to a man who is begging and pleading and crying and hoping and praying that he could spend more time with his children? I know there's extenuating circumstances, but for the most part, a good man wants to be with his kids all the time. What was that movie? Mrs. Doubtfire. You, Geneva Doubtfire, dear. That man dressed up like a woman. Oh, I know that takes a little bit of a different turn in today's day and age, but look at what he did to spend time with his children. Good men want to spend as much time with their children as humanly possible. Why is it that a man and a woman just can't look at each other and say, I love you, but we're not in love anymore. We're more like roommates. I think we should split, and let's do this amicably. Let's figure out our situation, and let's keep the kids close, and let's keep them loved, and let's make sure that you and I, as soon-to-be ex-husband and ex-wife, do not go off on the deep end. Do not talk negatively about each other. Be positive, right? Be positive, with the children. My parents got divorced when I was 12 years old. I'll never forget it. 12 years old. And, it was a situation where it was a positive, it was a positive outcome. It was positive for me because all they did was fight. And I'll never forget the moment that, unfortunately, my dad left. And when that door shut, he left. I took a big sigh of relief because I didn't want to hear the fighting anymore. I didn't want to hear the fighting. But, where is the equality in this whole game that we call divorce? Where is it? Somebody's got to stand up and start screaming, kicking, and doing whatever needs to happen to get the shining light on this topic, because it's not changing as quick and as fast as it is, or it should be. It's just, simply not. We want equality, but we got the equality, right? We got the equal pay, equal rights, equal this, equal that. But it's not bleeding down into the actual world of real law and real judges and real committees and real senates actually sitting around the table saying, you know what, maybe instead of Tommy having to pay 50% of his paycheck and he has to live off of his other 50, maybe we should kind of wake the hell up here and think about a different arrangement or scenario across the board for men. So a man doesn't have to a man's got a life too. A man has a life too. He needs to live as well. We're not on this planet to simply work 1,000 hours a week. For what? To work 1,000 hours a week for who? For what? We go to work, we put in our time, we come home, we want to be with our children, we want to be with our family. It's that simple. At least it's that simple for me. And I know there's a lot of men out there hearing this right now, and I know that they completely agree with me. And I'm going to speak to you men directly and let you know I will be the voice of change for this country. I will, and I will not back down. I would categorize my personality as a quadruple A personality. I don't take no. I'm a very aggressive guy because that's what I have to be, whether I want to be or not. And I don't quit. I don't quit. When are the laws going to change? When are they going to change for the American man who busts his ass to work to support his family? Now, we're in divorce court. The man's got to give up 50%, maybe more, maybe less, somewhere in there. But what really bothers me is an email I've been reading. A guy named Jim. He actually lost his job, and Jim actually was held in contempt of court for his settlement agreement and got arrested. He got arrested and went to jail for 30 days because he was behind on his child support. So you know what, folks? What are we supposed to do? Let's be open about this for a second. What are we supposed to do? Are we supposed to not eat? Are we supposed to not have a place to live? I know, and all men know that we got to take care of our children. All men know that, for the most part. All men know that, right? But what are we supposed to do if we lose our job or don't have the extra at the moment to give to you on behalf of the children? Because now we're living in two separate houses, two separate households, two separate lists of bills, two separate everything. What are we supposed to do? Somebody knock on my head or whisper in my ear and give me the answer to that. Are we supposed to just sleep out on the streets? Are we supposed to not have a life? Are we supposed to do nothing but wake up and work 10,000 hours just to simply get by? And I'm not saying I have the answer. I am bringing up reality. I am bringing up facts. I'm talking about what I read from so many men. It's unbelievable. Look, I understand you get married the first time, you got a 50-50 chance. 5 out of 10 make it. And, quite frankly, let's be candid. Out of those 5 that make it, I wonder how many actually convert into roommate situations or actually live through a sexless marriage just and only to be with their kids. I get it, right? The odds against relationships and marriage are so stacked against you, certainly in today's day and age, certainly in today's society. It's really unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Finding somebody else in a second marriage and getting married. Okay, well, you know what? You're at, what I say, 67%? Nah. The third marriage certainly isn't a charm anymore these days, folks. It's 73% divorce rate across the board, okay? So, I'm not going to stand here on a public podcast and say don't get married. But I can tell you that the world is changing. I can tell you that the whole dreams of getting married underneath a willow tree with a rainbow and a unicorn in the background, whimpering, and singing praise Jesus and congratulations really isn't the course of action that you see much anymore. And I've been to a lot of weddings, and it's really it's not funny, but you have a lot of people at the wedding. If you're standing up in a wedding, actually saying, don't do it, John, don't do it, Tim, don't do it, Susie. It's almost become laughable. It's almost become laughable because you get married, you're smiling, you're so happy. Let's do it, baby. Then, all of a sudden, you go through a year or two, and you're out traveling and having a good time and high-fiving and look at us and so on and so forth. But boy, oh boy, here's what changes. Here's what really changes, and I think this is a big deal, okay? Children. Children come. It pulls the husband and a wife certainly away from each other. and you lose track of your love. You lose track of saying I love you. Date nights become non-existent, right? Let's be honest. You start to grow apart from each other. Well, come on, Daniel. We could make time for date nights. We could take our kids with us. We do all different kinds of things as a family. Well, do you? Do you? Do you do a lot of things as a family? Are you happy? Do you spend one-on-one time with your wife or husband, one-on-one? Because I think the answer is no. I mean, look, I know that everybody I know, most people I know, they certainly don't. And I don't have I'm trying to state my own opinion, but a lot of what I'm saying comes from just rows of emails and discussions with friends and fans of my channel, and I am going to speak out for these men. I said this in a TikTok, and I'm going to say it again. Men are, men get very emotional when it comes to their children. Yes, I know women do too. But why does it seem like at the end of the battle, when the man is walking out of court and those French doors shut behind him, why does it seem like he's always the Viking that went down? Why does it seem like he's always the one that just got pummeled? Why does it seem like his lawyer saying, "Hey, Bill, go ahead and take this deal. I'm telling you right now, it's a good deal. By the way, pay me $50,000." Why does he always feel like he is the one who is a loser? And why, in most cases, do the children? Now, listen to me carefully here. Why do we all think that it's the right decision to have the children live with the mother, almost as if it's a given? Right? It's a rule. Hey, we're gonna get divorced. Well, my kids are gonna be with me, so I don't care what you do. Whoa. And why does it have to be almost this predetermined scenario where the kids are absolutely going to live with the mother? Is it because the man has to work all the time? Wait a minute. Wait a big old minute here. What about equality? If the wife actually has custody of the children, then that ex-wife is going to work every single day. What's different? What changes? Why? Why does it have to always be where the children go live with the mother? I think that needs to be completely overhauled as well. Because I know in this state, after what I'm reading from a lot of these emails here, a man has to walk through fire. A man has got to take on an army of 10,000 soldiers just against him alone and win before he can actually get sole custody of his children. Even if it's right or wrong, if a woman actually has real problems, and I'm using this as a scenario, if a woman has real problems, and I mean real problems, okay? And again, I'm not sexist here. I'm just using analogies. But if your ex-wife has got real problems and the judge doesn't see that, or your ex-wife's attorney presents her to be a butterfly just flying in the wind, beautiful colors, right? It's amazing what a man has to do just to show the judge that she's not a butterfly and she doesn't fly through the wind. I mean, it's got to be recorded. It's got to be real time. You've got to have photos and this and that. There's got to be a better way to deal with divorce in this country. There has to be a better way of dealing with what is equal in this country, because it's not equal. It is not equal in this country. Equality, women's rights, the right to earn as much as a man. God bless you, women. God bless you. We are all behind you for that. However, the change never bled down to the world of reality, which is a judge and two lawyers duking it out over a settlement agreement based upon assets, what you have, what you don't have, and of course, the most important thing, the time with your kids. The time with your children. Because, like I said, I have an 11-year-old, and I mean, it's hard for me to spend time with him right now because he's in that stage. He's growing up. He's becoming a great young man. He's in sports. He's with his friends. And, I mean, who am I to take that away from him? I can't do that as a father. I'm behind him, just like I'm behind my daughter. I support them. I'm there for them. I do what I think a dad should do, right? Because that's what it ultimately boils down to. You do what you think you should do as a father. Okay. And as I said on some of my other podcasts, we all know that raising a child is not easy. It's not. It's not easy at all. I want to see it change. I want to see a change in divorce court. I want to see these men actually smile for once, then constantly wake up in an utter state of depression and have to actually rely on the pharmaceutical industry to make them feel normal. I want these men not to have to cry when they don't see their children. I mean, I want these men to have a good life. Yes, I want the same for a woman, too. This podcast is about the man. I'll say it for the third time. I'm not sexist, but I'm telling you, why does it always feel like we lose? We're the loser. Why does it feel like when you go into court, you're automatically the victim? I'm here, Your Honor. I already know I'm guilty. I already know I'm going to pay through my nose. I already know my attorney's going to send me a bill for $50,000, and I already know it's going to take me 10 years to pay that off. Oh, and by the way, Your Honor, thank you. Thank you. I really, really, really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to barely see my kids because of some falsehood information you received from my ex-wife. I'm sorry. There has to be a change. There's got to be something major that happens across the board. And, I'd like to sit down with all the committees in, maybe the Illinois State Senate. And I'd like to address them and say, ladies and gentlemen, first and foremost, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? Where are you getting your thought process from? What are you doing here? I mean, how many of you, raise your hands, have actually been to a divorce hearing? How many of you in the Illinois State Senate actually really understands what really happens in divorce court? How many of you have actually been through a divorce? I'm not saying a man should not pay his fair share. That is not what I am saying. But I am saying that they shouldn't have to pay 90% of what they make on a monthly basis just so the other side can go off into the sun like the end of the movie in Grease Lightning. When he's in the car with Sandy and that big old lightning bolts on the side of that car and he puts his arm around her and they just go off into the lovely blue sky. Something's got to change. Something has to change on behalf of the American male man, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know how else to say this. And for you ladies that are listening, to this right now, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And I know it goes two ways. I know it goes both ways. But if I have to say something on public record, I would say that whether we agree or not, the pendulum usually shifts towards the woman most of the time. It's time for the Senate to wake up. It's time for the judges to wake up. And, oh, Lord, have mercy. It is time for all the attorneys in the divorce court world, which I think is a great profession nowadays, right? I think it is time for everybody to wake up, open their eyes, and realize that we have got a monumental problem here. We've got mental issues at such a huge level. Men's mental health is being destroyed, whiplashed, and degraded, and ignored. A man doesn't want to talk about what a man feels. A man, if he is extremely depressed, will not talk about how he feels. He won't talk about how he feels. But let me tell you how a man feels. A man is scared just like a woman. A man cries just like a woman. A man gets insecurities just like a woman does. A man gets all kinds of emotions just like a woman does. You want to know something? We hide it. We don't talk about it. We don't think we should talk about it because that's not being a man. That's not being a muscle man taking care of the family. Charging the hill with a spear, taking on soldiers of 10,000 and expecting to win. It is time for this country to grow up in the world of divorce court. It is time for a voice for men in divorce court. It is time that the divorce court laws in this country get changed at the federal level. It is time to wake up, America. It is time to wake up, America. I am doing series after series after series after series of divorce court because it's wrong. And you want to know something? Every man listening to this right now, they're shaking their head. They're agreeing with me. And you know what? It has to change. And the judges have to realize it has to change. And the judges need to take a step back and really look at real situations instead of just a case number. Well, case number 6825. I don't know your name. I don't know your situation. Frankly, I do not care. Counselors, please approach the bench. Who's crazy? Who's not? Okay, you're screwed. Goodbye. See ya. See ya. And if you don't pay your attorney, guess what? You get destroyed even more. You don't go to your attorney's office and pay that attorney what they want, you get destroyed even more. What are you going to do? Get a public defender? I'm not being disrespectful to public defenders, but, what are you going to do? And then the caveat, the big kahuna, the icing on the cake is, why is it that most men have to pay their ex-wife's legal bills? Has anybody taken a step back and thought about how crazy this has become? It is time for America to reset the world of divorce. And what's sad is that everybody knows it. All right. Another episode of Gallagher's Grip. Thanks for tuning in. I really, really appreciate it. See you next time.